a lot of us would like to know what it was like growing up when you were a little boy, maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old at Christmas time.
Well, Christmas was something that we really looked forward to. You people that see this probably don't know that I had two older brothers and two older sisters, and they catered to me quite a bit before Christmas, telling me all these good things about Santa Claus. And of course, when I was real small, I believed in Santa Claus. But my family always hung up their socks for Santa Claus. Even my dad and mom and older brothers had two older brothers and two older sisters, and it was all then hung up an empty sock, and then the next morning just couldn't wait to get downstairs to see what was in the sock. And I remember that almost every Christmas we all got an orange in our sock. Now you kids that are growing up now, so what? Orange was really something to look forward to because that was something that kids just didn't get back then. But I always look forward to getting something in my sock and then presents. And my family sent gifts and received gifts from aunts and uncles. And Christmas was a big time because we really looked forward to it. Now, there was no mail route, so we had to go to Flippin to the post office to get the mail. So my mom would send one of the older boys horseback to the post office pretty often then, so we could get all the packages that we got in the mail, and she'd pile them under the Christmas tree, and you might pick them up and shake them and rattle them, but you didn't dare try to open them before Christmas. And she always put up a big Christmas tree, and she had one of the few, we were probably one of the few that actually had ornaments to put on a Christmas tree. The neighbor kids, the girls might string popcorn on a string and make ropes out of that to put on a Christmas tree, or throw cotton in it to make it look like snow. But my mom had sure enough decorations, and she had, I remember she had a little display of, I don't think it was plastic back then, maybe it's celluloid, the reindeer and a sleigh and Santa Claus, and it was on a tray-like thing, and it's probably 2 feet long. She always put that out, and other things pertaining to Christmas. My mom was very adept at making things for whatever the occasion was, whether it's Christmas or a wedding or a funeral or whatever. But well, I think one of the biggest things was on Christmas morning to get down and see what is left in that sock, and there was always something special there. And what I like to get, and I still have every one that I ever got, was little miniature China horses. I still have every one, and I remember who gave them to me. My grandmothers, I think maybe they were a little more special to me because I was younger, but always got horses from them and aunts and uncles. And then after I got a little bit bigger, I got a pocket knife every now and then, and that was really special. But Christmas was a time of festivities, and always a big dinner prepared, and it was just something that was homegrown. There wasn't anything store bought for Christmas dinner, but it was something to really look forward to. And when I think back on it now, I think how fortunate I was because the neighbor kids around there, you see, my family did not have a vehicle. We didn't have a pickup truck or anything at that time. In fact, my older brothers and sisters were already gone from home before my family ever had a pickup. So going to town and getting preparations for Christmas was, if there was something we had to have, well, we went with a wagon pulled by a team of horses, and it was 8 miles to Flippin. And heck, back then, if you went to Harrison, that'd be like going to Kansas City now. But most everything, the mail and all that, come in on a train. There was a Missouri Pacific train, and there were depots all along the way, and the mail would come on a train, and then it'd be carried to the post office and distributed from the post office. But it was a big thing to just go and see what all we got from the different members of, not the immediate family, but the family. And one of the things that I enjoyed most was just getting to open the presents and see what was in the sock. And of course, we always had a real good dinner. When I look back, I feel sorry for the other kids because they were fortunate to get anything. If boys got a pair of socks, that's something real special. But my mom made sure that we all got a special gift of some kind, and for the girls it was something that they would like, and the boys it was something they would like. And back then, I'm talking about back in the 40s. I was born in 1934, and the mid 40s was still, the depression effect was still on people. There wasn't money to spend, and you had to think about the things to make and make do with what you had. And I feel very fortunate that my folks really went out of their way to provide the kids with something special, because as I have already said a couple of times, when I look back on it, the other kids in the immediate neighborhood, they didn't even have a Christmas tree and didn't really get gifts as we think of them now. But Christmas was something to really look forward to. That was the highlight of the whole year, was Christmas, because that was such a very special time. Because as I've already said, we didn't go to town. We never went to a movie or anything like that because we didn't have transportation and didn't have money to do anything with. But I think people were probably emotionally more stable then than they are now, and they were more considerate than they are now. And if there was something to be shared, well, it was shared, whereas now it seems that no one really cares much about other people. But as far as my memories of Christmas, it was always the happiest time of the year. It was something to really look forward to because, as I've said, you got things you didn't get any other time of the year, had a real special meal. And when I look back on it, I think how fortunate I was to grow up in a family that provided for the family as my family did. Oh, there was always ham, and not turkey, but a baked chicken. Chicken and ham. Beef was just practically unknown because there wasn't any electricity. You didn't have a refrigerator. There was no way. I've talked to other people in my age group, and we didn't even eat beef because, occasionally the neighborhood, they might butcher the old milk cow's calf and pass it around in the neighborhood, and then the next year they might. But it was always ham and chicken. But my mom was very adept at taking a chicken and making the dressing and everything, but always had ham. And usually then, maybe had butchered just shortly before Christmas, and you might have fresh pork, but ham and chicken was the meat. And I remember that she was very adept at taking sweet potatoes and making a special dish of them. And sometimes somehow she would manage to come up with some cranberries and make a cranberry sauce. And you think, so what? Cranberries were just a rarity then, anything like that you just think, oh, well, go to the store and get it. It wasn't at the store. But Christmas was the event of the year to look forward to. And we didn't have electricity, and everything was cooked over a wood-burning cook stove. So she had to be pretty adept at getting the right temperature in a wood-burning cook stove to do all this cooking. And if it was something that she could cook previous to the actual meal, while she would have something like that already cooked and ready.
Yes.
Right here, I distinctly remember, I think I was 5, and I got these 2 horses. This one was from my grandmother Cole, and this one was from my grandmother Seymour. My mom's maiden name was Seymour. And I remember I got these the same year. Now, all of these China horses, if you look on the bottom, it says Japan. They're made in Japan. And these are 2 of my favorites. I think this one is just really special, so distinct and so exact. But I remember getting them, and I'm sure I was 5. I know I got them before I started school. And there, I have a whole bunch of these. Here's a pretty typical. See, it says Japan. On the bottom. But these are what I would get from uncles and aunts and so forth about this side. Now, you realize I got all these before, well, maybe not before I started school, but I got all of this kind of stuff when I was real young. Here's a bigger one. You didn't get anything this big very often because it would probably get broke in the mail somewhere, even if they put glass, handled with care. But this is the biggest one, biggest horse that I remember. Well, it's the biggest one I ever got because I think I've got all of them. But the glass things had to be, but these will all say Japan on the bottom. That was before China took over the manufacturing world, I guess. I don't know. But, for example, this one right here says from Springfield, Colorado. That's where. So this one I got from my uncle on my dad's side, and he lived in Springfield, Colorado, and that's where my family moved to Arkansas from, was Springfield, Colorado. But you see this little deal here, it says something about, I can't read it here, but it says something about Springfield, Colorado on it. Now, the toys were a little bit different. Here, take a good look at this pickup truck. Now, this was a real jewel. If you got something like that, I mean, this beat anything. Had to see the grill and the headlights and everything. And kids don't think much about getting a toy truck now. And I remember getting this. This was real special. This is a cast iron fire truck. See the guy on the back? See the front? The wheels? That's cast iron. That's not tin. And had to get this probably when I was probably 4, because I think I got most of the metal toys. Anyway, it's very, very old. And you can see it's really special to still have that after all this time. As many times as I moved around, move all this stuff and not lose any of it or have it broke. Now these are not as old. These are made out of rubber. And you see they have wheels and all on them. These are not as old as the metal one, but that's not plastic. That's rubber. And anything like that. I probably got these in my sock sometime. But they're very special because of their age and what good shape they're in. Here is a super, super good one. Take a good look at that. Get the grill and the bumper and the headlights and the wheels and the bed on it, the cab. See how it's made? This was really something special. But that's just a few of the things. And even to this day, I still keep everything that comes along. I never threw anything away. But that's an example of the things that you had to look forward to get, and you just get one of these things. Now the horses sometimes would, like, different uncles would send a horse, but the toys that we got were something that was so special compared to just what all the other kids. And my family's no better than any other family. All the kids got something, and of course, Christmas was celebrating Jesus' birthday. Christmas was real special then, and it was the event. It wasn't just, it was something to look forward to get the gifts and all. But Christmas was not commercialized then, and it was just a different mentality about Christmas then than it is now, and to most people. There's people now that probably still feel that way, but there's a lot of them that don't.
What makes you feel most at home now as an adult?
Just the family get together. when I was married before, we always made it a real special event with both families getting together. Benny's mom and dad and her brothers, and my mom and dad. Of course, my brothers and sisters were gone, but we would have both families together at Christmas. I mean, that was just a given, and that's what, like yesterday evening when we were here, the family was here and sitting around the table and eating and talking and remembering different things. That's what reminds me most of the Christmases when I was younger, is the still strong family ties. When you think to get something like this, then Briar and Waylon get a little red wagon full of toys for Christmas, but a toy like that at Christmas was just, that was just so special.